This is a storage server. This too is a storage server. It has a drive bay that can hold up to 4 drives. It has front panel indicator lights, active cooling, the form factor. It is based on a $15 Raspberry Pi 02W, and best of all, you can build one yourself, but should you? Some things we do just for fun. Some people like to run Doom on obscure devices. I, on the other hand, thought it would be fun to build a scaled down version of a real storage server. I decided to base the design around the essence of computing, which is a Raspberry Pi 02W. This monster of a computer has a 4-core ARM processor running at 1 GHz, and it is supported by 512 MB of RAM. Madness, I know. Jokes aside, I knew from the beginning it wouldn't be a speed demon, but what limits us are the interfaces, not the performance. But more on that later. First, I designed a 3D printable case, which I named the drive bay. Get it? It had to meet a few criteria. It must look like a storage server, it must have a front drive bay, and it must include front panel status indicators. Not to brag, but I think I pulled it off. One of my favorite design aspects are the fibers that transfer the lights from the Pi and the hub. The hub? Yes, the hub. The hardware behind the front drive bay is simply a $2 USB hub from AliExpress that was decapsulated. I also had to shorten the cable and replace the connector with micro USB so it can be attached to the Pi. This unfortunately means we are limited to USB 2.0 speeds for all the drives. But hey, it's not about the performance, but fun. For the drives, I've chosen to base the design around the Kingston flash drives, simply because they are good enough, common and cheap. You might have also noticed that the case has a slot for a fan. I overclocked the Pi to 1350 MHz, so the fan is actually needed to keep the Pi cool. Was it necessary? Probably not, but who doesn't like free performance? Now that we covered hardware, let's talk software. I really wanted to run a RAID array on the drives. Luckily, with Linux, this is stupid simple. You only need 3 components: operating system, preferably Raspberry Pi OS Lite to keep the server vibe, MDADM utility for creating and managing RAID arrays, and Samba for sharing files across the network. And just like that, we are running a RAID 10 array over the network on a Raspberry Pi with 4 flash drives. I did some basic benchmarks, and both read and write speeds oscillated around 4.5 MB per second, which is what can be expected for USB 2.0 with a bit of overhead created by RAID array. But for me, it wasn't enough. I had to prove to nobody that I could create the cursed yet the cutest storage server on earth. So I installed OpenMediaVault. Does it work? Technically, yes. Practically, I spent half of a day observing crashes or watching updates taking eternity and running like 90% of commands from CLI because something was either A, unsupported, like creating RAID array on flash drives, B, because doing stuff via web UI failed for various reasons. But hey, now I have what's probably the only Raspberry Pi Zero based, overclocked, server-looking, network-attached storage server running OpenMediaVault with a RAID 10 array of flash drives connected through a decapsulated USB hub in existence. If you want to learn more about this project, I've prepared a blog post series where I go in detail about it. The models for the case are shared for free on Thingiverse. The links for both these things are in the video description. And that is all. Subscribe if you'd like to see more cursed computer solutions from time to time, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Thanks, Timax.